Hey everybody, I'm greeting all the researchers of AI, all the fans of nature intelligence, and all the fans of nature, my nature garden office. And yeah, today the main topic is to emphasize the biggest gap, which is basically for me biggest inspiration as well between the old way of learning things, learning knowledge, which we know from the classical school system, and the copy paste is now in the AI scene, and in compared to the way how the humans evolves or how I perceive that the nature intelligence work, that the source of intelligence is speaking through us. For me, this gap is so extreme that it provides us with as well extreme possibilities to get inspired and to make the AI better, or maybe the school systems very different. And yeah, let's begin maybe with the how I perceive the old school way of learning. Basically, as most of us raised in the classical school systems, we go into the school with the basic belief that the knowledge is something what I don't have here in the brain, and what is somewhere outside in the books or in the teachers or in the internet or in the chat GPT or somewhere simply outside concentrated. And I am here on this place to learn, so which means like I will just download all of that knowledge and put most of possible, and the best just the principles because they didn't take so much space here. And yeah, after getting all that knowledge, it starts to get combined a little bit. I can go to the world with that knowledge, and I can do some job which is in that knowledge space, or I can a little bit combine that knowledge, and out of experience what I have with using that knowledge, I can learn maybe something more, that this combination doesn't work and this combination works. But what is essentially happening? I've got copy of the knowledge, static copy of the past knowledge, which was created by somebody. Sometimes even book was written out of past books and so on. And somebody in the beginning uh, of that chain uh, was not having maybe any tangible source. So this was the first, for me, questionable in that old way of thinking, old way of learning things in the school system. So we are getting some static snapshot of some knowledge, which is of course getting a little bit updated over the time. Even teachers need to update their knowledge. But what is basically happening, that there is this updating mechanism, which works same to AI. I've got all the things from internet, all the videos, all the textbooks into the AI model, and to make this static knowledge base, which is searchable very nice with the language, with the human language, or with some even pictured question, imagination, or whatever, and it gets the answer out of that closed knowledge space. Because if we go a little bit outside of that knowledge space, which was not given by the learn time, then the AI is lost. It produces hallucination. So um, this is the classical way of learning things, which we know from the schools and from the AI scene. And it is logical that it is mirrored in the AI, based on the basic belief that the knowledge lies out of us and we are having it, then we can download it and we can talk to others which has different which has downloaded different knowledge, and we are comparing and interacting, so which is partially the mainstream way of living. And but it is very exhausting, to be honest. And it is very unfunny because it doesn't have any creativity, any inspiration, any of that freshness. And we are sometimes exhausted by that, so that's why we get sick out of our profession, and we need to change the profession in the unconscious way that we think, yeah, this makes me sick. My my this limited knowledge space. I need to change it because I get fresh air. It's partially working for some time. The way how I perceive how the real learning in the nature or in us as humans, in us as beings, from the source of intelligence works is very different. And I would like to know as well your opinion, so take it only as my interpretation, because it's very undescribable and it's part of it. It's beyond the words. And but I will try to explain it, my current perception of the way how how the how we actually learn, how we make the progress, how we evolve, how the nature evolves, how we are all interconnected. It has, in my eyes and in what I experience multiple times, it has four phases. It is like a wave, and it begins in basically stillness state, and then it goes like a wave, and it goes back to the stillness again. The first phase, this stillness, this timelessness, this beauty of just being, uh, it's it's actually undescribable. You can put any words to that. It's just state of being. There is no goal. No, if we close our eyes in the moment and if we connect to ourselves, to what we know from deeper meditations as a inner self, somebody call it God, somebody call it present moment, whatever words we put, this stillness, this nothingness, this emptiness, this present moment, um, this is very necessary first step in the evolution and in the learning, because this is the step where our being is fully connected to the source of intelligence, to something much more greater than than we imagine. And without that frame of stillness, which is represented in any of our experience, like even during the talking, if there is no stillness between words and sentences, it will be just going on some surface. The source of truth would be not able to speak through us if we don't put any kind of stillness into that. And we can think first time experiencing deep meditation states or deep inspirative states, or the best are alpha states for me, at least personally, before sleep and most after sleep. Those extremely fresh alpha states where I can even again sleep in and forgot all of it what was there. But it is such purity, and it is so clear that me with the existing knowledge can never came to such ideas out of those states. It is for me clear that it will never came to me out of combination of books what I read, because it is something outside of that. It is similar like for the artists which go somewhere and simply wait and enjoy this nothingness, and then they can start. So this first phase is actually connectivity to source of our intelligence. This nothingness, it's after few experiences of that all wave, like during all four states, I realized that this first phase, this being in stillness, is the most important. Otherwise, there is nothing fresh coming in. So basically, in compared to classical way of learning, where we get the knowledge out of outside, here we are getting in the first phase, in this stillness. We are waiting that some knowledge comes within us into deep meditative states or alpha states, or your best moments during best activities what you have, where you really feel that all the concepts are going away, all this mental noise out of the normal life. And as well, it has, for me at least, conditions that the body is not exhausted, especially after wake up in the morning. The body is usually fresh, but even the phase of the previous days, if there was some exhausted activity and I went sleep late and I did a lot of things on the notebook, it will never came such good inspiration, such a good first phase of nothingness. And yeah, in this nothingness, it uh, it came something. Let's say, as was somewhere written, uh, first there was a word. On the beginning, there was a word. So out of that nothingness really arise some kind of form of pure inspiration, pure creativity. Uh, for me, it's usually in the way of in the way of thoughts, in the way of sometimes come some half dream in those states, or some visualization. Something comes simply, and yeah, we was used to call it simply dream and forgot it in the morning. Which was the biggest waste of our inspiration, because usually we was taught, oh, you are crazy, what you was thinking, this is just a dream, forgot it, and go back to the school. So yeah, this is the way how to punish ourselves for this creativity, if we want to repeat that. And yeah, out of that are words, concepts, and something very simple arising. Sometimes in this first conceptualization out of the nothing, out of the stillness, I'm trying to go there with a little bit questioning, and I'm not sure if that works, but if I can feel that I can little bit switch a little bit topics, and the inspiration is then evolving in different topics at least. But the best is to not be with the mind as an obstacle in those states for me at least, which is very difficult because sometimes it looks like I'm now back connected, I can ask anything. And it looks like first experience with ChatGPT where you feel like, this is beautiful, I need to ask anything what I can learn. So, yeah, and the second phase is basically uh, after this inspiration, we've got in the head full of beautiful dreams, and sometimes it's just short thought on some topics. Sometimes it's a complete picture. Sometimes it's a very nice inspiration visualization. Sometimes it's just a name of colleague you would like to talk to, and you don't know why, but it is coming simply. It can be anything, but it is so vital to not throw it away as a hallucination, but use it. And that's why the second phase, where we already wake up out of that connectiveness, out of that oneness, stillness, we wake up as a 3D person in this 3D world, limited to our possibilities as a humans. And yeah, we go simply into material world, and we have to be open and cautious that let's try it. Let's not be afraid of what comes in. Let's let's try whatever out of that. It doesn't have to be now with beautiful idea. I spent the whole day till night and maybe 1 month to just focus on that idea, keep it as a picture in the mind, and try to fully implement. It can be very first step, uh, or maybe it even came something logical to that it makes sense uh, to try this, and to ask maybe friend for the help with that, because maybe there could be like some common sense. Even if you present it as a crazy idea, it doesn't matter. But to be really open to yourself and try it in 3D, that's the best what we can do. Um, as far as we feel that this energy is fulfilling us. We don't have to go beyond ourselves to some state where we are energetic, exhausted, and we are just grasped with that idea and trying to implement all of that without looking ourselves what is the vibe within us, because as well the body is extremely helpful in those moments to give us the right vibe, I would say, to do this implementation. And if we ignore ourselves and our energy, it will end up just in the frustration. But even that is very vital. So the second phase, let's say, simply implementation, or the best part of the implementation. I had, in my way, the best experience where I implement just part of it, and I keep something for the next time, next day, whatever. The third phase, which is very interesting, is that we, as a steady person, which had this experience to try to implement our beautiful dream, inspiration out of the nothing, try to implement it. We had this experience as a arising memory. And sometimes there was some conflict, sometimes there was some feeling of unsuccess or exhaustion or whatever, or feeling of very, very good vibe, very good positive energy, whatever is there, all of that, we need the way to put back into the source, back to the source of the intelligence. And maybe everybody has different way. This would be as well very interesting for me. But we came with something out of the nothing in the first phase. We tried to implement it, part of it, and we collect the experience and putting it back to the source. How I do is the best way for me. If I was, for example, implementing that with multiple people, the best way is to share that experience between us, just in the classical way of Indian circles, Indian sharing circle, that everybody begins with the concepts, with this mindy thing, like, yeah, it was hard to do this and that, and maybe next day it would be better, and those all mindy thing what we remember, what is arising as a memory in the present moment. And the main goal out of that whole sharing is basically to go with the sharing circles deeper and deeper to the feelings, and to put out the feelings which was behind, to put out all of this, maybe even stress, maybe great success, maybe be thankful for that, to really put everything, first mind the usually things, then the own feelings, put everything out in the way of words, so that the energy which was collected due to that experience in the limited body, in the limited energetic body, whatever you want, it was limited, little bit stored and presented as a form of memory which is arising now, to put you during that third phase, to put it again out, back to the source, in whatever form. It could be for somebody. I use the sharing. I use sometimes talking to the nature. I sit to the tree and I put it out. And I feel some kind of resonance. But I need to put it back to this intelligence so that it has for the next round, next wave, again input. And yeah, the beauty of that, you can have a million ways. It can be sharing, it can be talking to the nature, it can be for somebody dance, it can be for somebody the loud expression of angriness because there was a frustration. So whatever is in, it needs to get back to the source. It cannot hold us, because if it holds into our limited ecosystem, we experience next time only that same. It's like from the old school system, we experience only that same static knowledge. The step forward is to do this exchange back with the source, and in the end of that exchange, whatever kind of you like, there needs to be there arise naturally feeling of oneness with everything. You, sometimes it's so funny that we was, for example, three realizing, trying to implement the same idea. All of us has conceptually completely different view on that and completely different experience out of the realizing same, but in the end, on the feeling level, you feel the, that we understand somehow each other and that we don't have to put any more words on it. And there is connection not just between us, but between the source again, source of this intelligence. And the fourth step, it's for me necessary, for me is sometimes happening before I go sleep. It's kind of cleaning. Uh, there could be a lot of, let's say, this unsuccess or negativity or feeling of I was limited somehow, or I didn't trust myself to do this crazy thing which comes out in the inspiration time. And this kind of limitations which we feel that they can limit ourselves, we need to be able to find for ourselves the proper uh, tool or proper method uh, to be able to release them, to be able to transit those limitations or those old beliefs or those old mindsets. It could be simply just telling ourselves or asking myself if I'm able to release that old pattern of thinking and just answering to that. It doesn't have to be put in the loud. Everybody has different method, or to get into the little bit conscious breathing and feel consciously that I can let this concept go. I don't agree or I refuse to agree to repeat that concept in my future life consciously. It could be anything. For everybody works different methods. Somebody can put it on the paper and burn it in the chimney. Yeah, why not? Or whatever kind of cleaning you like. But the main principle is that in the next wave of inspiration and this, let's say, implementation, it doesn't block us anymore. So this is the beauty of the way how I see that the human evolves, how we as beings are getting inspired by the source of intelligence, and yeah, how we can go further. And this is for me extremely huge difference between that kind of communication with our inner source or with our source of intelligence. It doesn't have location, so don't take my hands very seriously. How we communicate to that source in compared to classical belief of thinking that the knowledge is outside and we are just downloading in our heads, and yeah. So, and this is a huge possibility of getting inspired if we seriously look into modern AI. We see that it's just mirroring our limited beliefs, and it's just mirroring that base beliefs which we put in, as a Western scientist, so that the knowledge is separate to human brain, and it can be represented as a static set of knowledge, and only way to update it is to download new knowledge, is to learn, is to put this back propagation, is to start the back propagation again. And yeah, just in comparison how many watts this spent during the inspiration, it's actually I have the feeling that during the classical inspiration and creativity, this state of nothingness, I don't need to spend any of my uh, energy. It's actually energizing me in compared to what I do in classical school. It's wasting my energy just to remember this statical knowledge, and this is same mirrored in the AI. Like, what is the consumption of the huge AI models? Like, to learn it and to update it. This is huge. Like, and this is extreme disproportion. Like, only in that base beliefs that the knowledge is not lying within ourselves, wherever we point to, or within the nature, or within whatever is here. It's just speaking through us, and it's right now updated. Like, it doesn't find um, the non-updated thing, because it is actual in compared to like speaking with ChatGPT, with the static snapshot of the knowledge. So this base difference, it's already providing probably new way of looking to the modern AI, and I feel that our duty as a scientist is to not try to avoid those, not try to back question, not try to avoid back questioning ourselves. What are our base beliefs, which we used to build the whole AI scene, and trying to reflect a little bit, trying to get back into the cycle, trying to collect all the beliefs of separation, of external knowledge, of classical way of learning, maybe even embedding words is not very, I would say, not very compatible of how I perceive the source of intelligence. And trying to challenge all of those, which I'm constantly looking to it and doing with myself, and coming out with the fresh ideas on the AI. For example, how to use the nature chaos, how to be really connected to what we called the random noise, the quantum noise, because we are already doing that in the AI. In the first step of backprop, we are setting all the waves to random, and we don't have to. We have to actually do it, otherwise we will get never the function. But we can be cautious about that, and we can use maybe biased random with our intention behind. We can open our closed mind that maybe this is first step of connectivity of the AI with some kind of present moment, because in that present moment where are those numbers generated, they came out of the nothing, they came out of the source, they doesn't have anything to do with the static knowledge. So this is the way where we can get inspired. And I feel that the other way could be that we are not making intentionally closed system with repeatability, because if you ask any person same question 2 times, it will never the answer sound same. So why we are trying to impose that repeatability and that kind of mm, that kind of robotism for the AI? Why we are not really open to include some signals from the life environment, to provide the AI with little bit openness to what is happening right now, to explore that in the research if some signals from the life environment can help maybe again be a little bit more connected to the real source of intelligence, to do not put everything into the billions of weights, or to the thinking that those billions of neurons has some weights, to little bit shrink that, and to little bit try to connect that weights with something what is out of this presence, out of the source, out of the real source of intelligence. So this is the way where I'm looking towards, and I would like to know all of you, which has maybe similar doubts about AI, or who see already kind of those limitations which I try to emphasize, and maybe you have completely different look on it. And this century is not, in my opinion, any more time of some biggest inventors. We are responsible to connect ourselves and to communicate to the source of intelligence together, especially if we have doubts on the Western science beliefs, and especially if we see that the current AI scene is only mirroring us those limitations. And yeah, it's call for everybody who has interest to share the thoughts on that with me. Please leave your contacts, leave your comments, leave the links on your experiments, because I'm already experimenting in that area a little bit with some hardware and AI software, and I would happily hear something from you on that topic. Yeah, looking forward. Enjoy your time, enjoy your day. Ciao.